Guys, Jen's here. Jen here. Sorry, the newest dog is sitting here with me. It was not my dog. The spouse bought this puppy, and it's a mini, and I'm having quite the time babysitting it during the day. But Samuel's good with her, and he likes her, and he's gentle. So those are all good things. So, who is this and why am I showing you? Well, because we are living in such a time as to where it is definitely the end of an age, or changing of an age, or the end of days, however you prefer to look at it. I'm not going to be an alarmist. I'm not going to be a doomsday person, because number one, that day is not supposed to be full of doom. It's a day of revelation. Of course, there will be wrath, but again, I try to look at things a little differently than they're presented, and it has served me well thus far, and we are being led to certain places. Now, I want to preface this by saying I was not looking for this. I wasn't searching for this. I was doing some other research, and this populated when I was doing that research. And it's a good time to bring up something else about a verse that I've often wondered about, and I didn't say anything about because, again, I let these things percolate in the back of my mind. I let my subconscious kind of work things out. And then when I go back to them, sometimes I can have a fresh look at them and understand things better that way. So sometimes all you need is a break and a change in perspective. Kind of like a Monet painting, I feel like that's our world today. It's beautiful and colorful and everything looks amazing from far away. But the closer you get, the more you see those errors and mistakes. And it is not that people are terrible. I do not want to be one of those folks either. I think that we've all been condemned a little too much. And that doesn't work on everybody. You can't always, get people to recognize their flaws by guilting them. And is it our job to even do that? I try to share the gospel of Christ, which is the good news that death can be overcome. That God sent a piece of himself down here. He loved us so much to show us how to walk this out. So I was looking for different information. I was not seeking this out, but it populated when I was doing some other research, and I was like, wow. And it's funny, I was doing a search on the psychology of propaganda, and I know that sounds a little strange, but that's what I was researching, because I think we are in a propaganda war, and we have been for a few years now, at least. Now, this isn't the first time this has happened. Dylan Mulvaney was named Woman of the Year in the UK this year. In 2015, I forget her name. Hold, please. I apologize for that. Jenner, Mrs. Jenner now, I guess, Ms. Jenner, won Woman of the Year in 2015. And there have been more in sports and in beauty pageants just the past 2 years. And also Rachel Levine, a congresswoman who brought a lot of controversy onto herself and the CV era of things with her contradictory statements regarding nursing homes in PA. You can look that up as well. All of this information is publicly available on the internet, and I'm sharing it per the Fair Use Act of 1976. So Christine Jorgensen, who was she? Well, I think it's important to note this one fact, again, much like with alien abductions. This woman, this trans woman, she was born in 1926, passed away in 89, an American actress, singer, recording artist, and transgender activist. A trans woman, she was the first person to become widely known in the United States for having reassignment surgery. But there's something else you need to know about her. She is a vet. She was drafted into World War II. And let it be known that also these operations are paid for by the military. So if somebody is in the military, this is included under their health care. Again, all of this information is publicly available. They've been streaming it out to us for the last several years, but most people don't have time or the inclination to do their research. Why am I doing it? Because I think there is a battle against the female, against the feminine, I'm seeing a lot of talk against calling God a mother as well, and I'm actually going to enter that debate. I probably should not, but I'm going to, and I'm going to give my 2 cents on it for what it is worth. And again, I'll probably lose more subscribers, but that is not why I do this. I do this because truth matters. Words matter. And real facts of history matter. They are important. What does not matter are things that are temporary. Now, most of these things, anything man-made is temporary, but I mean trending issues, things that trend. They trend for a reason. The system wants us to accept and receive certain information as truth. Well, pardon me, I do not consider it hate speech when someone speaks truth. But I wanted you to know that this is not the first time that this has happened. And oftentimes, a lot of this is coming straight from our very own military. So I would pose a question. What exactly is going on in our military? Are we not supposed to be focused on the protection of the United States citizens? Are we not supposed to be focused on the protection of those who immigrate to this area and who seek asylum? Are we not supposed to be protecting individuals? And I'm not talking about illegal immigration. There's a right way to do things. But we are all neighbors, right? All of us. Whether you're Chinese, Japanese, American, Canadian, Australian, we are all neighbors and we all share this place. But truth is important and it matters, and that is why I do this. So this leads me to something else that actually kind of ties in with this. There is a verse in the Bible. Let me get back to it real quick to show it to you, because we are going to talk about this more in a live stream or in the comments at least. I want you to see... Uh-oh. There we go. Whoops. Sometimes it just inputs what it wants to there. Okay, so we are at Genesis 9:21, and by drinking its wine he became inebriated and was naked in his tent. Because of this, when Ham, the father of Canaan, had indeed seen the body of his father to be nude, he reported it to his 2 brothers outside, and truly Shem and Japheth put a cloak upon their arms and advanced backwards, covered the area of their father, and their faces turned away so that they did not see their father's manhood. Now, we are going to look at this, and we're going to compare it. So let's compare. The NIV says, when he drank some of its wine, he became drunk and lay uncovered inside of his tent. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw his father naked and told his 2 brothers outside. But then again, they got the garment and covered him. The KJV. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his 2 brethren without. Uncovered himself inside his tent. Okay, so far, all it shows is that he is uncovered, okay? And that Shem saw him, okay? Now, my question is this. What kind of father... Especially Noah, right? He's supposed to be a righteous man, chosen by God. What kind of a father would curse his sons for perpetuity? Would curse their lineages, actually. So if we take a look here... Whoops, my bad. Sorry about that. If we take a look here... So Ham sees it. Shem and Japheth cover him. Then Noah, awakening from the wine when he had learned what his younger son had done to him. So let's compare these again. Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done unto him. Now, how would you know if you awake up what was done while you were sleeping? Well, it says done unto him. What he had done to him, okay? And notice that it said that 2 of them covered him, okay? Shem and Japheth were the ones that covered him. Now he says, Cursed be a Canaan, a servant of servants will he be to his brothers. Blessed be the Lord God of Shem, let Canaan be his servant. May God enlarge Japheth, and may he live in the tents of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant. Okay, so he has cursed his own lineage here. Why is that? Why is that? Lord of God, Shem, let Canaan be his servant. Because of this, when Ham, the father of Canaan, had indeed seen... Okay, so let's go. Now, what I'd like to do is actually to bring that up from a larger source. Hold, please, as I go ahead and look this up. Okay, so my Catholic Bible says the same thing from 1960. I do have a KJV from like the early 1900s. I'm not going to pull that out right now because I have to be very careful with it. But let's read what somebody else thought here, and let's start a sensitive, tactful, adult, appropriated dialogue. So I'm going to be very careful what I do read and do not read. Because older children can read, younger children cannot read. Now, it says up here, Noah woke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done unto him. He said, Cursed be to Canaan. Noah's grandson is servant of servants, shall be unto his brethren. I know there is no way of knowing exactly what happened between Noah and Ham to have a father put a curse on his son, but it seems to me that Ham did more than to see his father nude. I'm wondering about this as well. But again, I'm not Jewish. I don't know what their customs were back then. How stringent were things? Because Noah was inside of his tent. Did Ham do wrong by just walking into the tent and seeing his father uncovered? Or does this hearken to something else happening? Because here's my problem with the language being used. It is said Noah knows what was done to him. How would you know that? Now, back in my testimony, I'm not going to get into the whole story here, but I explained how I was violated in my own home where I pay to live about 2 years ago, and people denied that this occurred. Well, it was pretty obvious to me what had occurred because it was my body, and there are sure signs when a person has been violated. Certain symptoms will be evident, right? I'm trying to be very tactful here. So I understand what it means to wake up and know that something has been done to you. You just know. Much like a surgery. You wake up and you see the scar or the stitches and you know that you've had surgery. It is very much the same. If someone violated you, would you not know about it? And if someone told you that it was untrue, would you not then maybe in your anger curse that person for their disbelief alone? So I'm really wondering what went on here, okay? Because again, I'm someone who has dealt with some of these things and I understand them, and I have no time anymore, no patience for people who gaslight and say, well, you're wrong, this didn't happen, you don't know what happened. One thing I do know for sure in this world is when something happens to my own body. That it's just known, right? You just know these things. And so, he's asking here, I think this could be the first act of, in the Bible, because of this, knew what his younger son had done unto him. It describes an action rather than a look. Does anyone know about Jewish family traditions if a father can render a curse upon his child for anything inappropriate? And yes, they do have certain things like this that I've read about, allegedly. I didn't get too far into that. So this person is welcoming them to the forum and says that the NIV is a terrible translation, which I agree. Done unto him. Something was done to him, but it is not specific, so it's hard to be dogmatic about some of these things. However, please notice the word uncovered. Now, we know uncovered, like a covering is how you cover sin, right? Christ covers our sins. He is our coverer, and he says love covers a multitude of sins. So if you do all things from love, you usually cannot go wrong. Love is a covering, right? So Noah was covered. Was it metaphorically speaking, or were they speaking literal? Okay. Later passages of the Bible, you will see this is associated with a sinful act. And this is true. Uncovered means something is going on, something is happening that is sinful. It's not covered by the blood of Christ. And in this Old Testament, you definitely know uncovered means, there would be some type of blood sacrifice needed, an innocent animal, not human sacrifice, okay? And again, we're talking about when we were very rudimentary in our understanding of parables and metaphors and similes. And it's funny, the book of Enoch says that those of the serpent seed do not understand parables. This is why you're seeing so many people act out and mock the Bible literally, because they don't understand that it's spirit, that it's metaphorical, that it's parabolic in nature. Mostly, it's also historical in nature. So none of you shall approach to any that is near of kin to him to uncover their nakedness. I am the Lord. So that is from Leviticus 18. Then you have the nakedness of thy father, of the nakedness of thy mother shalt thou not uncover. She is thy mother, thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. The nakedness of thy father's wife shalt thou not uncover. It is thy father's nakedness. Okay, and so it goes on and on and on again in this kind of vein. And that's what I'm thinking as well, is that this is what some sinful act that was not covered by an animal sacrifice or what have you, meaning, just it was uncovered. It wasn't forgiven, okay, if you want to use that word. I don't use that word per se. I think God forgives us as long as we are contrite in heart. But again, this is the Old Testament, and we have to read it a bit different because people in their understanding of God were still very rudimentary, and they still are, a lot of them. Our spiritual evolution should probably be much further at this point. But what do you think? What do you guys think? I know this has been a long video. I apologize, it's a bit long. We will be doing a longer video stream about some of this, but not all of this. But I just wanted you to know, to be aware. We are in a propaganda war. And in times like that, you're going to see all kinds of things. And these things might seem new to you, but they are often recycled. And why are they recycled? Because they worked the first time. This happened for a very specific reason at this time, okay? Now, it's crazy that we were unaware of it, especially in an era like the 50s. You didn't see this type of thing go on a lot. If at all, a lot of people were arrested for their sensual identity. So you didn't have a lot of this happening. And it says, just real quick here, Dr. Hamburger explained the first sign was an increase in the mammary glands. And then, see, now it explains the changes in the body that take place. And now in 1958, she's comparing herself to a woman who might have had a hysterectomy because she doesn't have the organs or what have you. Okay, and then it goes on and on, but you can read this at your leisure. I will post it up for you, but this is definitely not the first time that we have seen this happen. Why did it happen? Is it reverse psychology? Are they trying to get people to go back to more stringent moral codes and values? Or are we seeing a rise against women who are au naturel? The au naturel woman, this is a dangerous ideology for au naturel women, because they begin to hate the woman, you see, because these people, here's the thing, they don't fall into a category per se. And I say this all the time, labels are dangerous, they can be. But here's the thing, this is a man who wants to be with other men, but they want to be a woman with other men. They want to be with straight men. Straight men want to be with au naturel women. Do you see the problem here? There is not room for every person in this equation. It can become very dangerous for au naturel women, and I know this because it's one of the reasons that I was quote-unquote canceled and that my life was torn to shreds as it is. These people in the subsect, the hijackers of the rainbow, are not friendly. They are not loving. They're not caring. They're vindictive, spiteful, petty, catty versions of women. Probably the worst attributes that we have are displayed in these individuals. It is a mockery of God's creation, and that's all it is. It is just, they're going to say that it's because they feel this way, because they feel that way. Are a lot of kids confused? Absolutely. But we're going to read something else that shows that some of these people know what they're doing. They know their bloodline, and they know where their allegiance lies. They're not willing to cross that boundary and recognize their Redeemer. So some of these young ones, they know what they're doing, and they're very aware of it. They're very aware of it. And I know that because I'm a mother. All right, I'm going to go. This is much too long. I apologize for that. Maybe I'll break it down in two. You guys have a great day, and let's have a tactful adult-like conversation below. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm not a doctor. No part of this is medical advice. For such advice, seek your chosen medical professional. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.